Welcome to another episode of Primo Talks. When it comes to life, you got to have those people around you who have those gifts and talents like you have in order for you to implement those things, so you know that the things that you're doing is moving you towards those goals, those dreams, those realities that you saw in your life. This is not the time for you to take a step back. It's a time for you to be teleported. This is a place where you can actually get the information that you need that you can implement today. Let's talk. When I was going to school, it was about organic chemistry. That was the thing. That's all I wanted to do was chemistry. I wanted to get into the lab, and I wanted to see how, on the cellular level, how things work. Well, now the way I function is I look on the mindset level of how I or any one of my other staff allocate funds. There are many different ways you can invest, but not all of them would teach you how to allocate money. So I ask you today that if you're going to become an investor, make sure what's part of your learning is the allocations of spending your current consumption. And I tell you, if you have a long-term view, and I don't mean a long-term view which means you postpone income. We're not talking about postponing income. What we're generally speaking of is this. How can I deploy my resources during the time that I am working, and when the time I'm not working, that when I'm working, my money's working with me, and when I'm not working, my money's continuing to work. If you allocate your funds properly and you are married, you have a wife that goes to work if she works, and you have a husband that goes to work and he works, okay? But then you also have two other people that can come into place, and that is two human beings that can function with releasing their resources with two different perspectives to bring a four-person household when there's only two adults in there. Again, I gave you an analogy. What I'm saying that if your wife or your husband are deploying their resources in a way, in the next 12 months, it'll bring in income as if it was four adults taking care of two adults. See, when you begin to think in measurements and you begin to think in management, you would really watch the way you deploy your money. For example, if you make $12,000 a year, and out of the $12,000 that you make a year, the cost of you functioning based on the way you think today costs $8,000, and you have $1,500 left after taxes. $12,000 is your gross income. $8,000 is your consumption of the 12, and you have $1,500 left that wasn't consumed, that wasn't allocated to taxes out of the 12. So that meant that $9,500 you was able to take home. $8,000 was part of your consumption. And $15,000 at the end of 12 months is all you can show from the $12,000 that you had. There is a saying that stays with me, and I normally say it multiple times. So if you heard it before, say it with me. The cost of my life, if I make $12,000 and I bring home $95,000 and I spend $8,000, if a person wanted to buy me, not as a slave, but as a point to be made, my life is only worth $1,500. Because the person can pay $1,500, reduce my consumption, and they may have $4,000 at the end of the year, when I'm only capable of having $1,500. See, until someone starts talking to you from a standpoint of learning, adjusting, dying to self, and then the allocations of fund, there's nothing that you can actually grow from until somebody can start asking you. Last year, when you take the total amount of money you made, and please understand this, let's not cheat. We're only going to reference the money that you bring home on your net income, not money that your employer matches or your employer takes before you get your check. We need to understand when you got money in your hand, how you allocate those funds. How much do you have left at the end of the year? So when you think about it, if you make $100,000, that's your net that you bring home. At the end of the year, you save $10,000. The cost of your life is $90,000. You got $10,000. So it takes $100,000 in order for you to live a $10,000 saving life. So if I was to buy your life and I left everything the same, it would take me 9 years to get my money back based on the way that you think. Not 1 year, not 2, not 3. $100,000 with a $90,000 consumption rate with only keeping $10,000, it means that for every $100,000 I deploy to you, it's going to take me how many years to get it back? 10. Just to break even. Just to break even. It's going to take me 10 years to break even. That is not a return, guys. Some people will look at it in this regard. They'll say, well, that's a 10% return a year. I'm a little different. Because I have learned to be astute when it comes to allocating funds. And when I choose to allocate funds, I ask myself this question. First, how long will it take me to get my original investment back? And then the returns start. What if I only got back 2 years and then you lost your job? I don't get a return if your next job is $50,000. 10 years just went to 20. This is what you have to learn if you're going to enter the role of allocating your time, your resources, and your money.